So guys, welcome back to new topic, that is parietal lobe. So you saw that in the previous lecture we discussed the frontal lobe. Frontal lobe, we saw that most of the functions were motor functions. Motor cortex was there. You have to remember that in parietal lobe, it is the primary sensory area. So here we will find what? Sensory cortex. Sensory cortex. By now you understand now what is the meaning of motor and sensory. Motor means it will be related to movement. I'm moving my hand, I'm writing and speaking. This all are motor movements. But what is the meaning of sensory? Sensory is sensations. Touch, pain, pressure, temperature, these all sensations. These are sensory. So the part of the brain which will help us to do motor movement is our frontal lobe. The part of the brain which will help us to pick up all the sensations is the parietal cortex. So remember, most of the things in parietal lobe that we will be discussing will be related with the sensations. It is not absolute ever. It is never absolute that frontal lobe will only be for motor, parietal lobe will only be for sensory. It is not like that. But for your basic understanding, frontal lobe is mainly for motor, parietal lobe is mainly for sensory. Primary sensory cortex is parietal lobe. So sensory, parietal lobe. Just remember this. Again, in parietal lobe, what we have to study? Three things. What is the anatomy? That is, what structure is located where? What are the functions of various structures? Different structures we see in the parietal lobe. What will be the function of each structure? And if each structure is damaged, what will be the symptoms or what will be the lesions? See, one thing I am worried that in your PYQ, there was a question on Gerstmann syndrome, which should not have been there, but there was a question on Gerstmann syndrome. Okay. And if the question is on Gerstmann syndrome, means that they can ask you other syndromes associated. So they are asking you these impairments. Like if this function is not done, then what syndrome will occur? I thought that they won't be asking you this, but in your PYQ, I have seen this Gerstmann syndrome. So whether I want or not want, I will have to cover all the related syndromes. It will not be in very depth, but just the names at least we will be covering for at least every disorder, every lobe. Like this frontal lobe we have seen, parietal we will be covering Gerstmann, then we will go to temporal, and then in the occipital also. In temporal also Balint syndrome and all will be there. Occipital lobe also we will be discussing. The main keywords we will be discussing at least, so that if there is a question you can tackle it. Fine. So parietal lobe. Parietal lobe, not very deep understanding, but yeah, we will be beginning with anatomy. So anatomy, again, you know, my brain. So what we saw was superior surface, lateral surface, medial surface, and inferior surface. This is the brain. So on the superior surface, if I say this first half is your frontal lobe, but this half behind the central sulcus, if I divide it from here, let's say this is the central sulcus. In front of central sulcus, what was there in front of central sulcus? What was there in front of central sulcus? Frontal lobe. Behind the central sulcus, we have the parietal lobe. Okay. Here it will be occipital lobe, but between from the central sulcus till the occipital lobe, the area which is present in between will be parietal lobe. So we will be discussing about parietal lobe. Okay. So try to understand. If you have, whenever you make a brain, the first structure that you localize is, by now I want answers from your side. The first structure that you localize is central sulcus. Okay. In front of sulcus, central sulcus, we have frontal lobe. Behind the central sulcus, we have parietal lobe. Here, very what we saw on the back of the head, like in the very posterior part, we have occipital lobe also. So if they ask you what is the location of parietal lobe, it is behind the central sulcus, but before the occipital lobe. So between the central sulcus and the occipital lobe, whatever area you have is parietal lobe. So now you understand the parietal lobe. Behind the central sulcus and between the occipital lobe, whatever area you have is the parietal lobe. Done? Done? Coming to the individual parts of occipital lobe. Oh, the parietal lobe, not the occipital lobe. So again, central sulcus, occipital lobe. So this will be frontal lobe, this will be temporal lobe, this is occipital lobe, and this area till here is parietal lobe. Okay. Now in parietal lobe, you have to understand, like in frontal lobe, what we have seen that there was one sulcus, and because it was before the central sulcus, it was named what? It was named precentral sulcus. Similarly, in the parietal lobe, there is a sulcus, but it is after the central sulcus. So what will it be named? You tell me now. What will this be named? It is after the central sulcus. Yes, this is post-central sulcus. Post-central sulcus. And this area between the central sulcus and post-central sulcus will be post-central gyrus. This will be post-central gyrus. Okay, post-central gyrus. Now, in parietal lobe, like in frontal lobe, we saw superior frontal sulcus and inferior frontal sulcus. In parietal lobe, we don't go into that much of intricacies. कोई इतना बड़ा तामझाम नहीं है. Only one sulcus is there. This. So, what is this sulcus doing? Here also there is parietal lobe. Here also parietal lobe. So, this will be named as interparietal sulcus. Interparietal sulcus. Because इसके आगे and पीछे, in front of it and behind it, we have parietal lobe only. So interparietal sulcus. Fine. Understood? This is interparietal sulcus. Just for my understanding, I am drawing it like this so that we do not get confused. Okay. So we have what? We have interparietal sulcus. The thing which is superior to the superior and inferior will be like this here. Okay. So the thing which is superior to the parietal sulcus, interparietal sulcus, is known as the superior parietal lobule, and the thing which is inferior to the interparietal sulcus is known as the inferior parietal lobule. Inferior parietal lobule. Okay, interparietal sulcus we have seen, superior parietal lobule, inferior parietal lobule. Okay, now you tell me, if there is a sulcus here, this area, if there is a sulcus, what will be its name? This area I am talking about. Here there is parietal lobe, here there is occipital lobe. What will be the name of this sulcus? You tell me by your knowledge. This will be parieto-occipital sulcus. Because इसके आगे is parietal, इसके पीछे is occipital. So parieto-occipital sulcus. Here इसके आगे was parietal, इसके पीछे was parietal. आगे parietal, पीछे parietal. It was interparietal sulcus. Okay. Anyhow, I just want to ask you, this was parieto-occipital sulcus. Just want to tell you that near the parieto-occipital sulcus, we have basically two important areas. One area here, one area here. These are two areas that you have to remember. The area here is known as angular gyrus, and the area here is known as supramarginal gyrus. Angular gyrus is more close to occipital lobe, whereas supramarginal gyrus is more close to temporal lobe. Okay, temporal lobe. Just remember this. But these both are parts of the parietal lobe. So we are discussing the superolateral surface of the parietal lobe. Like in the frontal lobe, we saw the superolateral surface, then we saw the medial surface, then we saw the inferior surface. But here we will see only the superolateral surface. Only one surface is important, because on the medial surface, of the parietal lobe, on the inside of the parietal lobe, there is one structure that we need to understand, that is precuneus. The name is precuneus, and I don't want you to see, learn, remember. This is very rarely that they will ask you about precuneus. Just remember that precuneus is a part of parietal lobe on the medial side. If you remember this much, it is more than enough. Okay, but superior lateral surface you have to remember. Okay, I hope that you have got superior lateral surface. What are the key areas present? So let me revise with you. Let me ask you, in fact, you will tell me now. The first structure that we draw to identify the brain, central sulcus. Anything in front of central sulcus, frontal lobe. Anything behind the central sulcus is parietal lobe. Okay, in the parietal lobe, after the central sulcus, we find one more sulcus, that is post central sulcus. And in between the central sulcus and the post central sulcus, what we have is the post central gyrus. Okay, in this we find one more sulcus, and in the front of this sulcus and on the behind of this sulcus, both are the parietal lobe. So this will become the interparietal sulcus. This will become the interparietal sulcus. Fine. Now you tell me, in front of this, on the superior part of the interparietal sulcus, what we have? We have superior parietal lobule, and on the inferior part of the interparietal sulcus, we have inferior parietal lobule. Inferior parietal lobule. Done? Understood. Okay. Now I told you to remember two more areas. One area was closer to the occipital lobe. This was angular gyrus. And the other area was closer to the temporal lobe. This is your temporal lobe, na? Closer to the temporal lobe, named as supramarginal gyrus. So you have learnt everything. But one thing I did not tell you deliberately, which I want to tell you now. In the post-central gyrus, there is the main area of parietal cortex, which is known as the somatosensory cortex. Somatosensory cortex. So when I told you that the parietal lobe's main function is sensory function, I was talking about this somatosensory cortex, which is present here. Somatosensory cortex. Now if you are able to relate things, just try to relate how the brain is so well designed. See, the center one is the central sulcus. In front of central sulcus, what you find is motor cortex. Remember, frontal lobe, motor cortex, and just behind the central sulcus, you find sensory cortex, somatosensory cortex. See, just behind the central sulcus, you find what? Sensory cortex. That is somatosensory cortex. I hope you are able to now recall and you are able to relate. So, central sulcus is called central because here it is motor, here it is sensory. Also it is in the center, but then motor functions, sensory functions, bifurcations is there. Okay. Now just remember the Brodmann number of somatosensory cortex is 312. Usually it is written 312 only. So you don't remember 1, 2, 3. It is 312. Okay. 312. Superior parietal lobule, Brodmann number is 5 and 7. Only this much is remembered. Rest you can skip. Angular gyrus is Brodmann area 39, I guess. Okay. This you can remember. Okay. So you are well versed with the anatomy, and on the medial side we have precuneus. I am not drawing medial side because one structure I don't wish to tell you. I don't want to draw everything for you now. Okay, so superior lateral surface, you have these structures, and on the medial surface, precuneus. So now you know the structures. When you know the structures, let's understand what are the functions of the structure. Okay. So first structure that we see is the somatosensory cortex.